After a week off, NASCAR is back at Sonoma for road course racing. It's been a long 2 weeks. I've had to actually think about a lot of things within the sport that I might share later on, but if you guys follow me on Twitter, then you definitely know, but let's talk about the race. So I was really excited to come to a road course race. I just want races without aero. That's the biggest thing. So road course racing, you don't really have to deal with that stuff, and it's really in the driver's hands, so I was very excited for it. Kyle Larson was on the pole, but many people didn't really pick him as a favorite because Kyle Larson at road course races seems to struggle just with keeping the tires on the car. So when the race started and Kyle Larson quickly loses the lead to, I think it was Martin Truex Jr., it wasn't surprising. It just wasn't, because Larson is still kind of mastering his road course craft and he still has to learn a little bit. But Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, they would get up towards the front early on in the race. The stages were 25 laps, and 60 laps. I think that was the stages. So with Harvick and Truex up towards the front and the first stage being 25 laps, there wasn't a lot of strategy per se when it comes to running the race backwards or something like that, because you know a caution's going to come out. So what was going on was, with 3 laps to go, the leaders, Truex and Harvick and Clint Bowyer as well, and a lot of guys, basically half the field, would pit. And they'd pit with 3 to go because you can pit and not lose a lap. But some guys would stay out and they would try to get the stage points because they need them for specific reasons, getting in the points. But guys like Truex, Harvick, Bowyer, you know, they don't need to win, or they don't need to win the stage. Like, they don't need the points, so they want to win the race. So guys like AJ Allmendinger and Chase Elliott stay out because they need the points. Allmendinger is not in the top 16. Elliott's, I think, 16th right now in the points, so they obviously need it. That's why they're going to be staying out and getting the points when they can, along with Jimmy Johnson as well, who was running up there early on in this race. So while Truex and Harvick were the fastest guys, AJ Allmendinger wins the first stage. And then when the caution comes out, those leaders who didn't pit to get the stage points have to pit, and it cycles Truex and Harvick back towards the front. Some people have a problem with this, and I completely understand, because road course racing, it's really nice to see the race run backwards, straight from the start. You could when it wasn't stage racing, you could have a 3-stop, you could have a 2-stop, you could have a 4-stop even. It's definitely a lot of strategy that goes on, and the cautions kind of naturally fall. With the stage racing, it limits that to the last stage, and when I get to the last stage, I'll talk about it. But it's understandable why stage racing, I agree with it. It doesn't necessarily work the way it should with road course racing. But only road course racing. I don't think there's a problem with it everywhere else. I just think there's a problem with it for 2 races of the year. So, I mean, do you really want to change the entire system for 2 races of the year? It's a debate that we'll get into in another day. I still haven't made that video. I said I was going to make the stage racing video thing. I haven't made it. I need to make that soon. Anyways, back to the race. So the stage winner, AJ Allmendinger, is now in the back of the pack because he has to get his way back towards the front since he opted to get the points. He was in the back of the pack when he missed a shift and he blew up the engine. So Allmendinger said it was his fault. I don't put the blame completely on him. I'm not a fan of that strategy. I understand he needs points. I'm just not a fan of the strategy of getting stage points and then sacrificing all your track position and going back to like 15th. Forces the driver to have a little bit more pressure on him to pass some guys, and maybe that pressure led to the little miss of concentration. But it's not even a concentration relapse. There's nothing wrong with what AJ Allmendinger did. It just, he missed a shift. It happens. It happens to everyone. It happened to Harvick. It happened to Dillon Jr. It happens to the best. It happens to everyone. I think he's being a little bit too hard on himself, but unfortunately, that's how it is. At the same time, Jamie McMurray had an oil pressure issue. I don't know exactly what broke. Something broke, and the engine was not getting oil pressure, so they had to go into the garage, and their day was done. And as stage 2 plays out, it's very similar to stage 1. You have Truex and Harvick who are leading the race, but they're going to pit with 3 laps to go, coming to 2 laps to go because pit road's closed. So they sacrifice those stage points, they sacrifice the stage win, and Denny Hamlin decides to stay out, get the stage win, with Chase Elliott finishing second. So Chase Elliott again takes those playoff points because he's 16th. Denny Hamlin takes the playoff point. I don't agree with that. Again, I would have pitted if I were him, but then again, I mean, if you think you can't win the race, maybe you want to get the points. It's a different form of strategy, but we'll get into it later. And then the third stage comes on, and the third stage feels more like the old school kind of road course racing because you had 60 laps in this stage, which means strategy would be all over the place. There's 4 different options I think you could do. You can pit on lap with 40 laps to go, which is basically running the race backwards, and you go 40 laps till the end. You could pit with 40 to go and then pit with 20 to go and divide it up into thirds. So that's, you take 60, 40, 20. You can run it till lap 30 and just split the stage in half. So 60, then 30, and then you go. So it's a one stop. Or you could run 40 laps and then pit on lap with 20 laps to go, and that's also a one stop, and maybe a caution comes out, and it's a lot of strategy because you're banking on a caution, and it's pretty difficult to know when that happens. But this is basically where old school road course racing comes in. So in the front you have Truex and Kevin Harvick, and they're battling, right? And Truex and Harvick, they're deciding what they're going to do in terms of pit strategy. Kevin Harvick's team and Rodney Childress are listening in to Truex's radio, and Cole Pern, who's Truex's crew chief, says pit now, and then decides to tell him to stay out. Harvick and Rodney Childress thought that Truex was pitting, so they would pit with him. So Harvick comes in, and then Cole Pern tells Truex to stay out. So Truex stays out, and then they run another 9 laps to go to 30 laps to go, while Kevin Harvick pits with 40 to go and then runs those 9 laps. So what happens is Harvick then gets a 7-second lead once Truex pits, but because of the tire wear, Truex is able to run him down in 10 laps and pass him with 20 to go. Cole Pern said in the interview he's not that smart. He didn't completely mean to fake him out, but it was just kind of a thing where they just changed their mind at the last minute and said stay out. And I thought it was the right call too. I would have pitted with 30. I would have broken it in half, pitted with 30 to go, because it puts you in that area where if a caution does come out with 20 to go, if a caution comes out with 15 to go, you're not in a horrible position, but you're not in the best of position. You're kind of like right in the middle, but you still have your track position, which is what matters. So when Truex gets in front of Harvick, Harvick pits again, and he takes a different strategy now. So he goes into thirds. He goes from that pit with 40 to go and then pit with 20 to go and hope for a caution. That way, if a caution does come out, that he will have 15 lap fresher tires or 20 lap fresher tires than Truex will. The caution never comes out. Kevin Harvick's able to battle his way back to second, and that just shows just how fast those guys were. Like Harvick, Truex, and Clint Bowyer also were so incredibly fast that Harvick and Bowyer could do 2 stops on lap with 40 to go and 20 to go and still get up to second and third, which is insane. Chase Elliott, who did the same strategy as Truex, finishes 4th, but Truex wins the race in an interesting strategy call, but some fans are not very happy because it was, I guess, a dull ending, because Truex had like a 30-second lead with, or 25-second lead with about 15 laps to go, and they ended up winning by 10 seconds. So it is what it is, but we'll talk more about that. First, to the results. Truex, Harvick, Bowyer, Elliott, Kyle Busch, Kurt Busch, Eric Jones, Eric Almirola, Alex Bowman, Denny Hamlin. This is a pretty good result for everyone in the top 10. Chase Elliott earned the most points because of his stage points, so he earned 9 more points, actually, than Martin Truex Jr., who won the race. Try explaining that to a new NASCAR fan. That's a little bit difficult to explain. Hey, I finished 4th, and I got more points than the guy that finished 1st. Oh, man. Eric Jones finished in 7th, which is good for him. He kind of struggles on road courses, so that's a good finish for him. I don't know exactly how he got there, but whatever strategy that 20 team deployed got him up there. And you'll notice that the SHR cars are up there, so Harvick, Bowyer, Kurt Busch, and Eric Almirola, all 4 of them are in the top 8. 200 cars, a couple of Gibbs cars as well, and Truex as well. So nothing really surprising here, no massive surprises. And it looks like a solid top 10. Jimmy Johnson in 11th. Chris Buescher, another driver I don't think I give enough credit to. Him and Austin Dillon, I never think I give enough credit to. Chris Buescher does a fantastic job in that 37 car to finish where he does most races, and he got a 12th place finish. Jimmy Johnson, just outside the top 10, is kind of normal for that team right now, just where they are. Kyle Larson, 14th, he was running a little bit worse than that. He kind of struggled there. Not the best races for him. Daniel Suarez in 15th. Again, just not there. He still needs to learn the road courses, so I'm not really going to put too much on him. Austin Dillon finishes in 16th. Matt DiBenedetto, another driver I don't think I give enough credit to, ever. I'd never really mentioned him. He finishes 17th in a car that doesn't have that good of equipment. Does a great job with sponsorship and stuff on Twitter, so he's been doing a great job. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., again, another driver I don't think I give enough credit to because he's in the Fenway car, Roush Fenway car, but finishes 18th, kind of where they were. Joey Logano, the Penske cars kind of struggled with Keselowski, Blaney, and Joey Logano. You haven't seen Blaney yet because Blaney lost power steering and had to continuously pit because his arms are cramping. And if you lose power steering at Sonoma, that's not good. Casey Kane in 20th, Michael McDowell, David Reagan, and the rest of the field. And you'll see Bubba Wallace down there as well. You'll see William Byron down here as well. AJ Allmendinger with the blown engine. These guys, Allmendinger just had the blown engine. William Byron, Bubba Wallace, they're learning. Don't even put anything on them for their first race at Sonoma. It's a hard road course. I feel like I'm in the minority here because I actually enjoyed the race. I know that's weird coming from my mouth. I'm known for bashing NASCAR, but I enjoy the race. I enjoy when Arrow's not a part of racing. I enjoy when road course races happen. I think the strategy is good. I think the stage racing, that's debatable. It's something to definitely be looked at for road course races. I don't know if there's a way to fix it. Just because I think it would be better if we just ran the 110 laps and let strategy just play itself out. But I don't know. It is what it is. It's something that's debatable. I'm not really on one side or another. I don't have an issue at all with stage racing. It just doesn't do what it's supposed to do for this race. Because the whole point of stage racing is you want it to reward the best drivers and give them playoff points and stage points. And then the best drivers say, nah, I don't want your stage points, and they want to win the race, so they give them up. So it kind of doesn't work that way. But like I said, overall, I enjoyed the race. I think if there was a caution, maybe it would have been a little bit more excitement, a little bit more entertainment. But I don't think entertainment is what we need right now. I think we just need natural, good, solid racing. And I thought that they had it. There was 3 dominant cars, Bowyer, Truex, and Harvick, especially Truex and Harvick. They were the best. They had like 15 seconds on the rest of the field. So it was very obvious that those 3 had the best cars. But not looking at it from just like domination standpoint, because in NASCAR there will always be teams that dominate. I think the racing was good because you could see drivers pass. You could see people who restart 17th drive up to the 5th place in like 10 laps. And that's things I like to see. I like to see drivers just be able to make a difference. I like to see, AJ Allmendinger and equipment that's not great be able to win a stage and run up in the top 10 before he obviously blew the engine. So I like those things. So I enjoyed the race. 7, 8 out of 10. Solid road course race. I like road courses. I kind of wish there was more of them, so I don't really have an issue with it. There are just things that probably have to be looked on, especially stage racing, because it's weird with the road courses. I wouldn't say it's bad. I'd just say it's weird because the strategy element in road course races, happens in the last stage, not really the first and second. So that is it for Sonoma. We go on to Chicagoland, I think, next week. And then that's going to be the first race with NBC, which I'm very excited with, just to see how Dale Jr. does. And I think Dale Jr. with Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton will be really good. I really like those 3 guys. If it means we have to deal with Rick Allen, then I don't really care. I mean, I'm not a fan of Rick Allen at all. I wish Alan Bestwick would be able to come back to NBC, but hey, I get 3 pretty good commentators and analysts for one that I don't really enjoy. I'm not going to complain about that. So really excited to see what Dale Jr. does in the booth next week. I'm excited to see like what kind of feedback he gives in terms of what he sees in a race and then is able to give that to the fans. I think Fox is more elementary. There goes the light every time. Anyways, I think Fox is a little bit more towards the younger generation. They try to explain it in a more basic detail, but NBC really goes in depth with the analysis of the race, kind of more the hardcore fans that know what's going on, and they are able to give a little bit better insight, I think, than Fox. So excited to see that, and we'll see how that goes. If you like the video, make sure to like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Follow me on Twitter if you're not already, since I already posted some of my interesting thoughts on the season so far, which caused a little bit of debate. Comment down below if you would like. And yeah, we go on to Chicagoland. Hopefully that Arrow's not a huge deal, but it probably will be. So unfortunate for that, but I'll see you guys later. Hope you're having a great day, and peace out. I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to, and I can't change, even if I tried. My love, she keeps me warm.